Wagwan Generals. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be taking you through the process of how I took my old setup that looked like this and turned it into the current setup that you're seeing right now. So just for a little bit of context, this was the space that I was working in when I was doing my streaming and making content videos beforehand. It certainly wasn't the worst space in the world, but it was in a small bedroom that I was trying to live in. Now, for my job, I work as a freelance videographer, so I work from home, a lot of editing. Sometimes, yes, I do go out on shoots, but the majority of my time is spent at my desk editing the footage that I've been given. But after about a year, 18 months maybe of that setup, it began to wear on me a bit and I started getting, I suppose what you could call as cabin fever. All my routine was getting up out of bed, going to the end of the bed, sitting at the desk, and then streaming in the same room, and then going back to bed, and maybe go downstairs for a couple meals every now and then in between, a couple toilet breaks. And I lived in this small little box room, and yeah, it just wore away at me. So I felt like, why not take advantage of the spare room that I had in my parents' house? Because yes, I still live with my parents. Have you seen the housing market? Jesus Christ. So as far as context goes, that's basically all you need to know. So without further ado, let's begin. So first up on the agenda was choosing exactly how I wanted the room to look. So basically, because a lot of my content is about football, or primarily football, but sport in general based, I wanted the tones of the room to be quite nice, light and airy, but still have enough in the room that makes you realise that there is football content that is created in this space. So what better way to think about football in a space than actually putting some AstroTurf up on the wall? So we painted the majority of the room in a bright white, but once we had that done, I still wanted another texture. I had the AstroTurf, I had the white, there was still something missing. I thought because the AstroTurf is obviously green, I wanted something to combat that colour. Now what most people do is they'll add what's called like a feature wall, which basically just means that they'll use a really contrasting colour to white, so they'll just pick out like a dark colour, like a green so it just gives the room a little bit of character essentially. Now a lot of the rooms in my parents' house already have this kind of 3 white wall and a feature wall thing to it, and I didn't want that for this new room. So I had a random idea to basically draw a line from the corner of 2 walls where they met and basically make a triangle. I thought because the AstroTurf is obviously green, I wanted something to combat that colour. So I thought, what better way to contrast the green of the AstroTurf on the wall than to pick up the most absurdly bright orange that I could find, and that's exactly what we did. So we painted the first triangle and then carried on to do the same thing on the second wall, and honestly I'm just so happy with how it turned out. I basically just didn't give myself enough time to talk myself out of just painting a random shape on 2 walls. So yeah, honestly, if you're redecorating anything in your own house, consider just doing like a random shape. It comes out so well, honestly. So next up was the AstroTurf wall. Now I don't actually have a lot of footage of us building the AstroTurf wall. However, there is something really special about this AstroTurf wall that I want to tell you about. So as I mentioned with what I do for my work earlier, sometimes it means that I can film with and get to meet some famous people. And at the back end of 2022, I was invited on a shoot with none other than Cristiano Ronaldo. Now you're probably saying, man, this has nothing to do with the AstroTurf wall. I'm getting there. Basically, the point of the shoot was we were unveiling Madame Tussauds' new wax figure of Cristiano Ronaldo to him. So basically we could get like a live reaction of him. And the team that actually built the wax figure, when they were assembling it, they wanted the wax figure of Ronaldo to look more authentic, so they brought themselves a big old roll of AstroTurf. We got everything we needed with him. Ronaldo left, and then when we were tidying up, they had this big old roll of AstroTurf, and we're like, don't suppose anyone's got any use of it. So obviously, there I was thinking, I need a new AstroTurf for the room to build on the wall, but an AstroTurf that Cristiano Ronaldo has walked on? Yes. So, long story short, this AstroTurf that you can see behind me is the only one on YouTube to be match-worn Cristiano Ronaldo AstroTurf. So the way that the AstroTurf was put up on the wall is by using what's called a French cleat bracket. So basically we mounted these brackets on the wall that are faced upwards, and then on the back of the board that the Astro sits on, we do the same bracket but facing downwards. So basically what you'll have then is one on the wall facing this way, one on the board facing that way, and then when you offer them up to each other, they'll lock into place, and gravity will do the rest and hold the board up on the wall. So that was the idea. We then fixed the brackets to the wall and to the board, offered them up, and sure enough, fit like a glove. I then had to mark out exactly where I wanted my LED strip to go behind the AstroTurf wall. So the lights I chose were from a brand called Govee, and I would highly recommend them, especially if you want some really good LEDs. And honestly, if you're working to a budget, I'd highly recommend going for Govee rather than going and splashing out on like the Philips Hue. Don't get me wrong, Philips Hue is like top of the range, but you do have to pay top prices for that. So Govee, I think I paid like £35 for a strip of 5 meters long. It literally just covered like whole Astro, really. I can control the lights from my phone. It's super easy, and yeah, Govee just makes it really easy to operate. They've got their own app, and honestly, I just think it looks so good. Like I can see in the monitor that like they pop off the screen really well. So yeah, highly recommend Govee. Highly recommend strip lights. So good. Now, because the desk I wanted has a wooden finish to it, I wanted that same texture of wood to be dotted around other places of the room. So I found this really cool light fixture that has this nice little strip of wood going down the middle. I thought it looked really cool, so I picked that up. And also with the blinds, I decided to go with wooden Venetian blinds rather than curtains. A, because I just think that curtains let more light in, and B, I just prefer blinds, really. So yeah, after a bit of an adjustment and a remeasure, we put the blinds in and it fit like a glove, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. So the final thing that I wanted to show you before I show you the whole desk setup and everything that's in front of me here are these two metallic pipe looking rails that I would use for my football shirt collection. So for those that don't know, I've got a really big obsession with football shirts. I've got a huge collection. I think I've got over 50 football shirts in my collection at the moment, just random ones from the 90s, present, countries, clubs, the lot. So I thought, yep, it's another link to football, so why not put it in the room? So it just means that anyone that comes over can have a little look through the shirts if they want. They can try some on. Yeah, I think it's just a nice thing to have in the room as like a nice topic of conversation. It's something that I'm quite proud of, that I've like invested a lot of my own money into. And yeah, I just really like it. So now it's time for the main event of the room, which is, of course, the desk setup. Now, I've wanted a space like this for so long, and I'm so happy that I can finally say that I've got the space exactly how I imagined it. So the desk itself is a wooden vinyl finish. It's super smooth, and it really gives off a nice warm tone in the room. And here's what we've got for what's actually on the desk. So, start with the obvious. I have a 3-monitor setup. 2 of the monitors are from Sony, and my main gameplay monitor is from BenQ, or Benk. I don't really know how you say it. The microphone that I use for my streaming and the one that you can hear right now is the Blue Yeti microphone. It's a really good entry-level microphone, so if you're starting out with YouTube and content creation, I'd highly recommend that. I've got my Stream Deck XL that sits on my desk permanently, so that when I'm streaming it's really easy for me to jump through scenes and shortcuts for sound effects and whatnot. And also with the press of a button I can just add little markers, so if anything happens that I think I could go back and clip during a stream, I just press a button and it's there at the end of the stream for me. I've got my Sony a7 III, which is the camera you can see right now, and it's also the same camera that I use for my face cam when streaming. When I tell you how much I love this desk, I am not joking. So it comes in at 1.8 meters long, which for a desk is very long, which means there's plenty of room for me, but if I'm also working on an edit and I want to bring someone in, they can easily just sit next to me and I don't have to worry about it taking up too much desk space to have 2 people at one desk. And the other reason why I like this desk so much is because of this. As an editor, I do find myself sat at a desk for multiple hours a day, editing a variety of different content that I need to get out for the following week. So now with a standing desk, I finally have the option, if I'm feeling lackluster, if I'm feeling a bit drained, that I can actually stand up and continue to work. It's just something I've always wanted to have, and now that I can finally stand at my desk and still continue to work, I'm very happy. I'm a happy man. So that concludes the room tour for me. Let me know your favourite part of the room, which you enjoyed the most. I can't even put it down to anything. I love my football shirt rail, I love my AstroTurf, and I love my standing desk, so I'm a very happy man. If you like the look of anything that was used in this video, I'll do my best to put it in the description down below for you to check it out. And if there is anything that I've missed out, just let me know in the comments and I'll reply to it as quick as I can. I've been Manners, you've been amazing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.